There were approximately 6,000 Pharisees around the time of Christ's ministry. They emerged as a group from about 100 to 75 BC. There were two schools of thought among the Pharisees. They had divided into the followers of Hillel and the followers of Shammai. Hillel advocated an interpretation of the law, leading ultimately to a set of traditions codified into the Mishnah, which in turn formed part of the Talmud. Jesus said of them, "They delivered to the people a great many observances by tradition, which are not written in the law of Moses." The scribes, the theologians of the day, were largely Pharisees and the legalists of Jewish society. They considered themselves separate from the people. In fact, their name comes from an Aramaic word meaning separate. Paul was taught by Gamaliel, the grandson of Hillel himself, according to Acts chapter 22 and verse 3. By and large, they were hostile toward Jesus because they felt he was too casual toward their laws. From their perspective, Jesus seemed to liberalize the law. According to Matthew's Gospel, Christ warned people, "You must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach." Politically, they didn't believe in compromise with the Romans, nor did they support revolutionary activities. The Sadducees were the great pragmatists of their day. They were largely wealthy lay nobles, priests, and aristocrats. At the top of the social pecking order of the day, they sought to conserve their power through compromise with Rome. They were more concerned with present-day affairs than on the speculation of the life to come. They didn't believe in angels, spirits, or a coming Messiah, and didn't believe in the resurrection of the dead. You might say they were old-fashioned, emphasizing the Pentateuch, not the Mishnah of the Pharisees. Most of the members of the Sanhedrin were Sadducees. They were the main opponents of Jesus at his trial, viewing Jesus as a threat to their power and status. According to what we understand, there were about 4,000 Essenes during Christ's day, of a variety of religious views, all grouped under this heading. We read about them and how they lived in the writings of Josephus, Philo, Pliny the Roman writer, and the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Essenes withdrew to monastic-like settings as the way to deal with the Roman occupation, moving into the wasteland east of Jerusalem near the Dead Sea, opting out of mainstream society. They lived an ascetic life and held their property together communally. Most of these devotees practiced celibacy, devoting their lives to prayer, to ritual washing, and copying their documents. They were waiting for God's apocalyptic intervention in human history, thinking of themselves as the righteous remnant. The Zealots were a fourth group among the population, founded, according to Josephus, by Judas the Galilean. The roots of the movement go back to the times of the Maccabean revolt. They advocated armed revolution. Josephus writes, "These men agree in all other things with the Pharisaic notions, but they have an inviolable attachment to liberty, and they say that God is to be their only ruler and Lord. They also do not value dying any kinds of death, nor indeed do they heed the deaths of their relations and friends, nor can any such fear make them call any man Lord." Josephus did not have a very high opinion of their efforts, bemoaning the fact that they infected the land with their doctrine to an incredible degree, bringing war and destruction upon the land. Simon, the disciple mentioned in Luke chapter 6, verse 15, was called a zealot. These were the four major religious groups influencing the general population during the time of Christ's ministry.